All right. Well, welcome today, Philip. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself through an interview here? We'd like to learn more about you. And our goal, I guess, today is really just to identify who you are, how you've grown from your time here at ESA and moving on.
So yeah, I'm glad to be back at ESA.
Good, yeah.
My name is Philipp Lenz. I'm 25 years old. And looking back at my ESA time, I started here as a student in 2005. So when ESA opened up, I was probably one of the first students enrolled.
You were one of the originals?
Yes, one of the originals.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I graduated in 2017.
Okay.
Started to study in Italy at the Free University of Bolzano.
Okay.
And graduated in 2020, and in 2021 I founded a FinTech startup.
Okay.
Where we concentrate on IoT-based financing options, and that's what I don't know brought me back here again to talk about.
But that's here in Augsburg that you've started.
So right now we are we have 3 different locations. One is in Ulm, one is in Berlin, and one is in Austria. And so this is kind of the
golden triangle.
The golden triangle, yeah. But I'm often here in Augsburg, so that's where I live.
Good. So, are you from Augsburg originally?
I'm from Augsburg, yes.
Okay. And how did you end up at ESA?
That's a good question. Probably you would have to ask my parents. They signed me up here, but my brother, I have an older brother, and he went to a normal German gymnasium, to a Polytechnic gymnasium, and. My parents, they were quite fascinated when they first talked with Miss Malin at that time about the concept. At that time, the school didn't exist yet. It was a vision. And so I was happy. Yeah, then 2005, when I was in grade 1, ESA started. So when I look around with it's cool to see that ESA still grows. And it's also cool that we have so many friends and teachers still at ESA I know from my time. And so also my inner friend circle, most of the people I started I started to know them when I was 6 or 7 years old in grade 1, and they're still my best friends.
Good. So you've definitely built the connections.
For sure,
that community has lasted.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. So and then maybe, I guess, if we look at what your brother has done, does he still have the same set of friends that he went to gymnasium with?
Yeah, he still has the same set of friends, however, not from the school. His friends group is kind of mixed. I also have a mixed friends group, but I have a very close connection with the people from ESA.
So how many students did you have in your class the first year?
Oh, that's a good question. So in grade 1, I think we were kind of 14, 15 people.
Okay.
And sometimes because we were such a small group, we had classes together with grade 2 and the other classes. International schools, they have in common that the people come and go, but there are many people that stayed until 2017 when we graduated.
That's good. And then how many did you have in your class when you graduated in 2017?
From that time or
just like in your class as a whole?
Oh, in our class as a whole. I think it was the size was always kind of 15, 16, 17 people. But at the start, we only had one grade 1, one grade 2, one grade 3. And at the end, I think we had 2 grade 12s. And,
so it had grown over the course of time. Yeah, very good. What changes have you seen since you first started?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I still have to look around. I still know the science lab and the library. Probably the main changes were when ESA opened up the second building. That was a big change. For us, you have to remember in the first grade, it was just the old building, the first floor or the ground floor.
Oh, really?
And so each year,
even up here?
Not even up here. And then time after time, ESA started to open up the library, the science lab, and arts lab, computer lab, and the infrastructure grew. And so for us, it was always cool to have the new, I can still remember the first times we had these smart boards and stuff like this. So I still have to look around what changed, but there's still many familiar faces, but also new faces at ESA.
Yeah. Well, good. So if you had one favorite memory or one fond memory that you have of your time here at ESA, what would it maybe be?
That's a good question, because I think there's so many different so many different events and so many different cool things that happened when I was at school. So I can't really talk about one specific moment, but I think what I really liked was the camps we had every year.
Good.
So that was quite cool. So I really liked it, that the classes went off to a different site, for example, to camp somewhere, or go into the mountains, ski, or do whatever. And I was always quite fun together with the teachers, together with the students, and to really work on this teamwork and this atmosphere we have here. Okay. So I really like that. And I think then another, on the academic side, I really liked the different projects we had. So in grade 5, for example, we had the PYP exhibition. That was quite cool, about the water cycle and water pollution. And it's still a topic which kind of follows every one of us. Yeah. Then the science fair, the medieval fair. So we had quite interesting different projects. I could talk for ages about every single year, but there wasn't this one event where I said that.
Some of those are still here. Medieval fair.
Also, the Make a Difference Day. That's also something. I don't know if we still have it, but
we haven't. We didn't do it this year, and with COVID, it kind of fell apart. Yeah. But looking at that, it was one of the events that several of the students who took part in it previously have mentioned that it was really powerful. Yeah, it's good. What kind of things did you do on that day? On a Make a Difference Day we went to a place for blind people. Okay. And it was a very relaxing day. We just went out to have pizza with them. But it was such a cool experience because we're quite fortunate that we can see, and we were having a great time with them. And as a student, you start to see things from a different perspective. That I really enjoyed that. But I can also remember when we were returning to ESA on that day, and different people came from an elderly place, from a kindergarten, from the hospital, and everybody was talking about the different experiences they made. Yeah. So that's something. I would definitely recommend to continuing traditions like this. So you felt like it was a good positive event. Do you do a lot of volunteering now?
It depends, because I'm quite busy with the different with our startup, and but I think you should always have an open eye for activities which aren't business related and which are for the wider community. And what I find quite fun is that I still return to ESA on Wednesday evening for the hockey session, which is an after-school activity. Yeah. And the people grow always older, so there are many alumni, many parents, but we still play hockey together. Good. That's something I'm looking always forward to.
I'll have to come and join. I didn't really realize it was. I thought it was an outside group. I didn't realize
but there's still many ESA people there.
Okay. I'll come and join. That's good. So you studied here. You did the IB diploma.
I did the IB diploma.
And how was that? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Because I started in grade 1 at ESA, it was kind of clear that it's gonna go towards doing the IB diploma. So I can't really compare it to the Abitur. I can compare what I know of my brother and their friends that did the Abitur. But for me, I really liked that there was quite a practical approach. So we it was a hands-on approach which I could always relate on when I was at university, because I knew that things like team projects, things like doing case studies outside of the normal classroom were part of the agenda. Okay. And so that was something I feel like that there is more space for creating your individual schedule and study plan. So if you're more the business guy, you can focus on economics and management. If you're more the art guy, you concentrate on art and drama, for example. So that's something I really enjoyed, and I feel like it's something I would always like to come back to.
Yeah. Did you feel like when you got ready to go into university, did you feel like you were well prepared, that studying the IB, doing the papers, writing your extended essay, those sort of things were made university easier?
Yeah, I feel like what I learned at ISA was kind of this toolkit I needed for university. It wasn't that at university there's the academics is on a different level. That's sure, because the people are also older. But what prepared me for university was the toolkit, and that is always related with the learner profile.
Right.
So that you kind of you think out of the box. You also take risks. You ask questions.
Yeah.
And these skills, I think, they are mandatory to succeed at university, but also later in life.
So, are there things that you're doing right now that you can see maybe direct links to your time here at ISA?
Yeah, sure. So
taking risks, for example, with your startup.
Taking risks, for example, but also being open-minded, thinking out of the box.
Okay.
I think one really important attribute is being a communicator and being caring. Like we could go through each of the attributes right now.
I'm impressed that you still remember them all.
I could list them. Don't challenge me. But what I still have a relation with ISA, because two alumni students, they started to work at our startup, so we still have this bond here.
Yeah. Very cool. So they've also graduated.
They graduated at ISA, yes.
Okay. So you're the giving back. You're
I don't know if you can call it a giving back. They're also giving back to me for helping me.
Yeah, you know where they're coming from.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Oh, that's good. And so then in university, what was it that you studied there?
So I studied economics and management.
Okay.
At the University of Bolzano in Italy.
Yeah.
And what brought me there was another friend of ISA. He studied in Bozen, and when I visited him, he kind of convinced me that it's a great town or city and a great university. And we're also still friends, and I still know him quite well.
So was it in English or in Italian?
Yeah, so it was a trilingual course.
Okay.
It was in English, German, and Italian.
Okay.
And so for me as a German speaker, German was... I could speak that quite well. The same for English. The Italian part was a challenge.
A few extras. That's good. And so with the economics and the business and all of that, was that then directly related to why you've started this particular startup that you're in?
I don't know if that was the reason. I was always interested in economics, business, and how things work. So studying economics and business or management, there's many topics in the field of, like in the startup field, of finance, accounting, whatever. So when you focus on these topics, it's kind of one way to go. I think it kind of has to like fit together and come together. And things I learned at ISA, I needed at university. Things I learned at university, I need now. So it always has to kind of fit together.
True.
Yeah.
True. If you're looking at the current students that are here, the class of 2020, we'll say 2024, because the current group just graduated already.
Okay, yeah.
But the ones that are getting ready to become the grade 12s, what advice would you give them?
That's a good question. One advice would probably be to always give your best, and always like wake up with a smile and concentrate on doing your best. And when things don't go right, then maybe it's a step backwards, but you can take 2 steps forward. So be optimistic, and also related to the learner profile again, and also be ready to take risks. I think it's nobody's perfect, and so when they completed their IB diploma, they have so many different options they can choose from. And I feel like some people, some students, they're kind of afraid because they are not sure if the career path they choose is exactly this that they want to pursue their whole life. And I don't think that's a decision you have to take now. And like next year you can do something different again, but it's just important that you move forward. And so that's maybe kind of a broad advice.
Well, I guess that comes back to, did you do internships and things like that here at ISA? And did that help you prepare for kind of understanding what you were interested in?
Sure, yes. So I think it was in grade 6 when we started, or 7 when we started doing the internships. It started off with 1 week, then 2 weeks.
Okay.
That's something I still have connections with my internship.
Where did you go?
People that one company I went to it's called DLD conferences. It's kind of a digital conference for futuristic topics.
Okay.
And they kind of created this ecosystem for for business, but also for research and politics.
Okay.
And I still follow these events, and I have to remember that there were several
So you had a chance to actually be involved in some of the local companies. That's good.
And at the end, it's also what you choose. The school supports you in finding an internship, but at the end, it's your own job to kind of also decide where you want to go and also find a good place.
No, that's good. In terms of your startup, if we come back to that for just a moment, how did that come up? Like, how did you come up with your idea? How did you actually develop?
It started off with an internship. So after university, I started in a financing company, and we were working on innovative financing models.
Okay.
And together with my boss at that time, we saw big potential in this market, and so we said, let's open up a new startup focusing on exactly these innovative topics. And so we also closed our investing round, and we found companies that supported us. And so that's something we're looking forward to also in the future. Out of this, we also founded a second company focusing on ESG topics. So carbon accounting and ESG strategies. That kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and it seems that's a really, not just a hot topic right now, but it's a really interesting one when we start looking at how do you account for all of these things.
Yeah, everything kind of starts with you have to understand the status quo. What kind of emissions do we have right now?
Yeah.
And we have our own technology, which helps companies in these fields. I was just talking with Markus Wagner about the ESG report for ISA. Yeah. And that's something I think ISA is doing quite well, but there are always options where you can which you can develop. So we were talking about the different also ESG projects we could use to compensate the CO2 emissions, for example, or reduce the emissions. It's a big field, and it also goes towards the field of reporting and at the end, these are the topics you have to focus on for the future. Yeah. And it's lots of fun to be part of it.
No, that's exciting. It's certainly an emerging field right now, which is really good. Nice. In terms of maybe classes and activities here at ISA, what kind of things were you involved in?
So I was always involved in after-school activities.
Okay.
It started off with football, hockey, always the sports clubs. So with Mr. Jones, I was always cool to have.
Were you one of the coaches, the player coaches?
No, I wasn't a coach. I was just a player. Okay. But it was always lots of fun, and we went to tournaments and stuff like this. Courses, like academic courses. I really enjoyed the courses in the middle school with humanities. That was something I was always quite interested in. But then in the IB diploma, I think you have different options, and sometimes you have to choose an option to also looking towards your university career, if you need an Abitur or not. But at the end, it's your own choice, and you can decide for yourself.
Were you able to attain the Abitur as well? That's good. And did you find that it was harder to get the IB diploma than you anticipated, or did you feel like it kind of fit what you expected it to be?
I think it fit what I expected it to be, because from grade 1 it was kind of
preparing.
Yeah, I was being prepared for it.
That's good.
So I didn't really have a choice. I would have had a choice, but it was kind of clear that it's gonna go this way. I think it for sure it can be very hard in certain times, but at the end, that's what you go to school for every day. That everything goes out the right way.
When you talk to your friends, what do you describe as the, I don't know, just like the atmosphere of the school here?
I think it's quite difficult to describe the atmosphere. I would say that people should just come around and come to Isa and talk with the people. That's the best way to absorb the atmosphere. And it's always I think the way you speak with people, that's the same. So it goes in both directions. And one attribute on a profile is being caring. So that is, I think, which describes one attribute which describes the atmosphere at ISA, that everybody cares for each other. I wouldn't say that it's an egoistic approach. I would more say it's looking after the team, collaborative community.
Good, that's good. So that was important. I think it still is important. No, good. Well, what kind of things in terms of memories? We talked about your favorite one, but are there any other memories that maybe we haven't talked about yet? Yeah,
I think it was quite fun when I came today, because there were so many old friends I saw on the way coming in, and I think with each of one of those you have some memory.
Yeah, like with teachers,
for example. With teachers.
Kind of, like, not all schools are going to have that same kind of connection, and how would you describe the connection that you had with your teachers?
I can talk about one example. One example was with Mr. Jones, our sport teacher, because it wasn't like that he was our sport teacher and he told us what to do. It was more, he was like, we were one team, and he was like my
he was
coach, but also like the team partner in the game. Player coach kind of. And I think the teachers have to be fully committed, so that the students also understand what the topic is about and to really learn. So that was something I really like. But there also coming back when you see that also for example, Miss Singer as the German teacher and Miss Bush, I still have memories of the different presentations about the different literature analysis we did, and everyone interpreted something different. But it was still, the teachers were engaged in the topic, so that kind of reflects onto the students.
Yeah, and that you were also preparing for this outside exam, so that the teacher isn't telling you you're wrong. The teacher is saying, here's how you can be successful.
We're in the same boat.
Yeah, because they want you to do well, because then they feel like they've helped you. So, good. Okay. Well, so what's next for you? You've got your startup in motion, or your second startup.
So that's what we're concentrating on right now, and we'll see what's next. So I think it's always important to be innovative and to always reinvent yourself and try to develop, if it's a startup or whatever, but not to you can look backwards, but it's always look towards the front. That is something to be specific. I don't know what there are many things I'm looking towards, but right now we have important projects on for example at Capon we have important projects we're closing right now, and some of these projects, they're also going to be decisive, and if we're going to go more towards an international approach, or if we're going to focus on the European region or German region. That's something.
Because your goal is with the financing of, it's not just tech-based things. It's
So the concept we're focusing on is called asset as a service.
Okay.
So instead of selling or buying an asset like a machine, we provide it as a service, and you, as a customer, pay what you use. So
kind of like Airbnb.
kind of like Airbnb or Uber or Netflix for machines.
Okay.
So if you use the machine for 5 hours, for example, you pay the 5 hours.
Okay.
And not all of the.
And so what are the
costs
kinds of
involved.
machines?
So one of our investors is ThyssenKrupp.
Okay.
And we're working with the automotive sector, and we're focusing on big machineries for the automotive sector. And
so you need something welded in a certain way.
Welding machines, for example. That's one thing.
Makes sense, because then if they're not using it for the next 3 weeks,
it's more the transformation process going away from ownership to usership. And you see that in car sharing models. So instead of selling an asset, we have different companies in different use cases, all working with the same asset. And it's also one model which goes towards a more circular economy. And one important thing is the ESG approach in this, so that you use resources the way they should be used.
Yeah. I was last year, because I came a little bit early, and I was sitting in the grade 7, might have been grade 7 class, and they were pitching kind of like a Shark's Den sort of thing, but they were pitching some ideas and for projects like this, and one of them decided that they should do a rental model for garden tools and lawnmower or cutting your hedges or things like that, and the same kind of
that's the
model.
same approach.
But then they said, well, somebody's got to buy all of the equipment so that then you can
so that's the financing part. We work together with investors, but what was quite interesting in it, so on the strategic side, you can focus on this risk sharing concept and transferring risk to from the operator to the owner, for example. But another important topic is, if you look on like at the financial side, you have many accounting KPIs which kind of can be on one side monitored, but also optimized. For our concept right now, or our product, we're working on off-balance solutions. So instead of capital expenditures, the customer only has operating expenditures. So
that makes sense. So you like pay to get into it, but then you're not having to keep it going.
It's more flexible, but it has to do with the balance sheet of the customer. So right now, if a company has to invest in an asset, they usually have it on their balance sheet. And for our asset as a service approach, we don't have that. They don't have the asset on their balance sheet. They just have the operating expenditures. So when they use the asset, they pay for the asset, but they don't have to deal with all of the other consequences of owning assets.
Interesting.
So you take the goodies of using the asset without having to.
And somebody's got to deal with it, but they can make extras to offset.
We have this like a technology orientated approach. So we also focus on a platform where this asset is monitored. So we exactly know how the asset is used, in what ways, and how we can operate. It's also very important for the companies that want to go towards a rental model and focus on recurring revenues.
That's good. So I already asked you the piece of advice for the seniors, but if you had someone that was really interested in going into business or creating a startup, what kind of advice would you have for them?
So I'm still at the beginning of my career, but looking back, I think what the most important thing is that you have a team. And the team should not be made out of the people that. So if you have a team out of 4 people, I wouldn't take 4 finance guys or 4 tech guys.
Yeah.
The perfect constellation would be 1 finance guy or girl, finance,
True.
tech, business concentrated, and maybe design oriented, so that you have a mixture, and everybody can kind of focus on what they are good in. So maybe that's one advice. If you want to
get a heterogeneous group,
yes,
and to be able to provide opinions.
And that's probably the most important thing, because if you have a good team, you can do anything. It doesn't really like it.
You don't have to do it all. Yeah.
No, like you are also part of the team, but you can open up a pizza store, and if you have a good team, that should also work out. And so that the team makes the big difference. And I would also maybe concentrate on a niche market, and not on a on a niche area in a market which can be a big market and can scale.
That's good. Well, that's what we're hoping to do with ISA. The niche market of parents that really want their kids to have this international. And maybe that's the question. Do you feel like being at ISA helped you?
For sure, yes. I think being at ISA, or ISA was a part of me, is still a part of me. And so this toolkit we just talked about is something it not only comes from ISA, also from other places you do, but or things you do. But it's one thing I still take with me.
Yeah.
And also there's this network and the connections. If I look around my friend group, and also the friends of my parents, for example, they're always kind of, not always, but many of those are ISA related.
Right. Good.
So that's something I'm also quite thankful for.
That's good. So, well, I appreciate you being here, Philip, and I'm glad that you've continued to keep ISA kind of connected to you and to your past and to your future. So
thank you.
I think that's one of the goals that we look in terms of ISA, is that it's the connections that are really so important to keep throughout all of the things that we do. So
thank you, and good luck for the next years. And
well, thank you. I'm enjoying it. So we'll see you tomorrow at the alumni reunion.
Yes, I'm looking forward.
The first
to it.
of many.
Perfect. Yeah, many to come.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll call.